Well, welcome to Mining Now, another edition of Mining Now. And today we're filming from the trade show floor at Mine Expo, the big show, and we're in the big hall, the central hall. And we're talking today with Wenco. And my guest today, Glen Trainor, who's VP of Commercial with Wenco, and Peter Hafmar, who's VP Autonomous Solutions with Scania. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
How's the show going?
Really good. It's crowded and a lot of good, interesting discussions going on. So, and people from all over the world.
You're in a spot here. You got some big gear around you. It's
yeah, we're in the Wenco's in the Hitachi booth, of course, right, along with all the other partners. So it's been a very, 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 very busy show. It's been fantastic.
Well, that's good. Yeah. That's good. And I always like to start out by learning a little bit about the guests. So a little bit about your background, how you got into the industry, and so Glenn, maybe we can start with you.
I've been with Wenco for 28 years. The company is almost 40 years old now. So I came in shortly after university. Okay. It was a small company. I think about 14 people at that time. So it's been a really interesting journey, right? I've been able to do it all, right? It was a lifestyle back then, 28 years ago, being able to travel the world and doing absolutely everything within Wenco, and watching it grow has been exciting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. And Peter, tell us about your background and how you ended up. We're going to talk about the collaboration in a minute, but
not as long as previous speaker. But what I've been in Scania for 3 years now, and in the mining industry for 3 years, but got it in a different route. So I started working with autonomy since 2015. So been working with autonomy for a long time, and then it took me a path into Scania and into the mining sector. So I work with both mining sector and on-road business, which is quite interesting to see the different roles versus different requirements.
So I'm interested, originally, when you first got into autonomy or autonomous operations, what were you working with?
First, I started with people's transport, went into taxi pods, okay, and then heavy machinery. So it's slightly different technologies where you work, but it's the same groundwork.
There's some transferable technology
for sure.
Obviously brought over to this.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a lot of interesting things because from our side, we have the autonomy side in mining, which is for us simpler to handle because it's a area where you have full control over. Yeah. Meanwhile, when you drive on public roads with our trucks, then you don't have control, and you have a lot of interaction with us people that not always follow rules.
There's much more interaction with the public than in mining, where we are focused on our employees and our equipment.
Yeah, but the efficiency in the mining industry is massive. So that is a learning back to the hub to hub. So it's going back and forward from on-road to mining to the learning curves. So helping us to actually create a very technology advanced mining solution when it comes to autonomy.
Yeah, very, very interesting. And we want to talk a bit about some of the technology, but first, let's hear a bit about Wenco. I mean, you were there from early on, so tell us a bit about the company.
We started out almost 40 years ago, specifically focusing on the fleet management systems for the load and haul fleet. Yeah. And that's still our core business today. The technology has changed quite a lot over the years in terms of how we're doing it. But that's still our core business. Improving the efficiencies, productivity of that load and haul fleet, whether it's from production or quality control, material destination compliance, stuff like that. That has since expanded our portfolio to include asset health. So monitoring all the machines, no matter what make or model within the
data,
getting all the data off for the maintenance departments to analyze, to help increase the availability of the equipment. And high precision systems have now come out. So centimeter level accuracies on a lot of the equipment for digging or dozing, drilling. And I think our latest addition to our product line is fatigue management. So we actually have a wearable device for the operators of the equipment that predicts their ability to resist fatigue and just eliminate those fatigue events on the site.
So I knew about Wenco. And when I came to the booth today, I saw the smart cap there.
Right.
I didn't know that was your guys' thing. I'm on the board of Torex.
Oh, okay.
We've been using it at the mine in Mexico for I think 3 years now.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's worked very well for us and expanded. So you've got a customer recommendation right on the show.
Thank you very much.
Let's talk about our Heavy Industry World Tour brought to you by Savona Equipment. Find, market, and sell surplus and used equipment. And FogMaker. Protect lives and vehicles with FogMaker fire suppression systems, because safety can never be a compromise. We are heading to events across North America and Australia and filming episodes on location. Email us at info@crownsman.com to be part of Crownsman's Heavy Industry World Tour. In the toughest environments, you need the hardest, toughest steel. With a full range of grades designed to meet the extreme demands of hard-wearing applications, from mining to construction and heavy transport, Hardox Wearplate has it covered. Trust Hardox Wear Steel to extend your equipment service life, boost efficiency, and power up productivity. Their wear experts partner with industry leaders to deliver solutions that stand up to any test. Ready to tackle your toughest wear challenges? Bring it on. Visit hardox.com to learn more. Is your screen struggling to keep up with your throughput goals? General Kinematics STM Screen is changing the way mines think about their screening process. The lowest cost of ownership in a vibrating screen package comes from General Kinematics. GK's technology is proven to last longer than standard mining screens. They match longevity with increased screening efficiency to create the reliable performance mine sites demand. To explore all of what General Kinematics has to offer, visit gkmining.com. Nordlock Group, a global expert in bolting and engineering solutions, offers technologies for the challenging environments of the mining industry. Their products help to increase safety and lower costly downtime for machinery such as rope shovels, haul trucks, and drills. Discover their comprehensive portfolio, including Nordlock wedge locking washers for superior vibration resistance, the expander system for pivot pins with robust durability, Superbolt strut kits for precise alignment and maintenance ease, and bolt-tight hydraulic tensioners for reliable bolt tightening in confined radial spaces. Visit nord-lock.com to learn more.
So now, Peter, Scania, tell us a little bit about that company, and then we're going to talk about how the two of you got together.
Yeah, I mean, Scania is a trucking company, and we are a global player. We are more or less all over the world. And the most interesting part with Scania is actually the whole product is built out on a modular system. So a customer could pick and choose of how many axles, so you can build and what engine. So you can more or less build your own cab, like a
buffet.
Yeah. And now we're adding in autonomy in that equation. So Scania has been around for a very long time, and we're now have 12,000 trucks in the mining industry. Foundational trucking manufacturer, but also a service provider, securing that we deliver what the customer wants. But the most interesting part is actually the modular system, which I think is amazing, even if I've just been working there for 3 years, giving the understanding to the customer that you can put together whatever truck you want, and we will produce it in our serial production. So that's, for me, is just amazing.
Yeah, so I find that very interesting. It's a very adaptive product to whatever your specific needs are.
Yeah, so we work with standardizations, but in a modular way. So it's not just one truck. Yeah. It is, you can pick and choose, but it's modulars that are standardized, which is then keeping on to being a good sellable product to the end customer.
So we've got two dynamic companies. So what happens when they come together? Let's talk about this joint collaboration.
Yeah, I think, if you don't mind, I think it starts from, I think it started with the introduction of autonomy into mining, where it was, I think, quite naturally introduced by the big equipment manufacturers, right, to bring in that autonomous solution. But in our opinion, right, if you really want to drive innovation, you need competition to really drive it. So one way to introduce that and to make sure that was maintained within the mining industry was to develop a standard. and published that standard for open autonomy. So 6 years ago, Wenco introduced this idea, and one of our engineers is the convener on the board for the ISO standard.
Okay. Yep.
And started to drive that 6 years ago, and it just got published this August of 2024.
So for the benefit of our audience, the ISO standard you're talking about is on equipment autonomy.
Yeah, so it's
autonomous operation.
What it's there for is to make sure that there is a standard way for autonomous systems and fleet management systems to interact,
to communicate.
And what that means is when the standard's adopted, any fleet management system can work with any autonomous system, and vice versa, and vice versa.
Type concept.
Yeah, and I think that's very important, right? This isn't Wenco's standard; it's not Scania's standard. It's the industry's. It's out there and published, and we actually publish a lot of our work on developer sites like GitHub to show what this standard is, right? And so it's the benefit of the industry, right, to keep driving that innovation. And then the autonomous provider Scania, right, is one of the
I think that's what your question was to dynamic companies, and I think that's the part that actually works so good together, is that we don't see that we need to work solely together. We do it together to just show that it actually is possible to do with an open standard. And that's so our vehicle will work with any FMS system, but what we showcase here is that we can do it with fully open standards, so anyone can integrate, because that's what the industry need. We need to secure that we can be fully integrated into different systems and solutions. You won't solve the future demands on your own, and I think the dynamics we have between Wenco and Scania is really good and showcase that we're taking a step into this standardization, but doing it on a more or less project scope, saying that let's deliver it together for the benefit of the end customer. And now we can showcase that that's for real.
Yeah, and what Peter says there, right, delivering it together. So that requires a special relationship as well, right? Understanding those development paths, understanding the support paths, sharing that with each other, right? And sharing those milestones and making sure we achieve it together, right? And it's a unique situation, but it's been working very, very well.
OK Foreign Trade and Mining Company is the leading producer of injection chemicals from the mining and tunneling industries. What distinguishes OK is that all processes are managed entirely in-house, from the production of raw materials to research and development and sales. This vertical integration ensures that injection chemicals are tailored specifically to the required needs. The products are utilized for strata stabilization, roof support, and the prevention of air, gas, and water leaks. A commitment to quality is demonstrated through accreditations from NAC, IAAC, APAC, and ILAC, ensuring that all tests and products comply with the highest international standards. Visit okdtm.com to learn more. CIM is Canada's leading technical institute dedicated to the sustainability of our industry. Members enjoy professional growth opportunities through CIM libraries, publications, webinars, societies, and the job board. Experience the CIM community firsthand at the Conference of Metallurgists, August 19th to 22nd, ICARD, September 16th to 20th, and the CIM Health and Safety Conference, October 6th to 8th. Visit CIM.org for more information and join CIM today. In heavy machinery, uptime is crucial. Meeting productivity demands with less downtime requires top-notch lubrication. The SKF Lincoln SL6 metering device is built to excel. With a proven design, it handles even the toughest conditions, ensuring reliable performance with extreme pressure greases. This automatic lubrication system reduces maintenance, cuts grease consumption, and extends component life. Plus, its advanced sealing technology minimizes leakage risks. For those who demand reliability, the SKF Lincoln SL6 delivers superior lubrication. Keep your machines running smoothly. Visit skf.com/lubrication to learn more.
So I want to expand a bit on the whole concept of this open collaboration or open development, because within software, people may picture it a certain way, and I think I know what it means, but can you elaborate on that a bit?
I think it goes back to that. It goes back to that standard, right? So I think a previous term in mining was interoperability, right? Just making sure that you can accept data from anybody, share data. The data belongs right to the user, right? They can do with it as they wish. And Wenco, we started off with this interoperability concept probably 24 years ago was one of our biggest changes, where we went from a proprietary database and moved to a Microsoft Open Database, right? Which nowadays seems, well, of course you did, but back then, right, there wasn't that sense in mining, anyways, with these products that the data should be open, right, and available, right? It was
the opposite then.
Yeah,
it was, this is ours. We're going to patent it. We're going to keep it close to our chest.
Right. Yeah. So that was, I think, a very basic example of opening the system up. In that case, it was for the client. You can use this data that your machines are generating, and you don't need us to do that for it. So I think that concept of interoperability, that openness, this is basically the culmination of that, and probably the biggest example, of that philosophy that I can think of in mining right now.
The next thing I had on my list, we're in the middle of the central hall with this huge equipment. Okay. But you guys are doing something with equipment that's not quite this big.
No, quite much smaller. But I think you don't need to look at it as competition. You should look at it as a joint effort to actually create a more efficient mining industry. So what we can do is that we have, of course, with smaller vehicles, the payload versus weight of the truck is much better.
You're hauling a great amount of weight empty. Let alone full.
And so what we can do is that we can reach satellite pits that we can't, or the mining industry can't reach today because of the distance. And with our smaller trucks, you can reach them. And also we can go electrified in an easier way. Because of the size of the truck. If you're going with the big ones, I mean, you need a lot of energy moving. So with that, I think there are several things that will help the industry to move to a more sustainable mining solution, and also reach the more satellite pits, as I mentioned.
And that satellite pit's an important concept, right? Because the deposits nowadays, they are becoming more distant. They're getting harder to access. They're getting deeper. The quality is getting a lot lower, right? So to access these pits from your existing operations is quite difficult. Right. So you don't want the large haul trucks. They're not going to make it those distances to get out there. And using that smaller equipment then allows for more selective mining. So you're not moving as much material to get the same amount of ore out, right?
And I would add to that, because from a mining engineer's viewpoint, when we look at the capital involved in that satellite pit, when you're looking at big equipment, it doesn't make sense. In your main pit, you've got some big equipment, but if you can go lower capital and focus on some smaller volume and higher grade, you've got another source of ore and more ounces or more tons or more whatever.
And then you have addition to that as well. I mean, if you go with our smaller trucks and have more trucks, then if you lose one truck that goes down,
the redundancies
is much better, and you don't lose as much productivity if you lose one truck because of the size of one fleet.
So all of this stuff you're working on, your clients need support, I assume. Most companies, when they sell a product to a client, there's a support system in place. So I'll table that question to both of you.
Yeah, I think I think it really comes down to the commitment, right? For one, I can speak for Wenco's commitment. We do have, a senior management person on staff focused on autonomy. We have the global tier 2 level support focused on autonomy, the development, of course, right? So we do have dedicated teams to support this and are committed to open autonomy. But yeah, right. I think you hit the nail on the head there. Really is the client wants a system, right? And that's what Scania and Wenco are working on together, right? To provide that seamless solution, right? So that they're not the client knows who to go to, right? When they need that support. But we're committed to it. We have those teams in place, right? And then working with Scania to make sure it's delivered as a single solution, really, in the eyes of the customer.
And you know, we talk about different mining companies using different systems, but even within some of the larger mining companies, you go to their different mines and there's different systems. So this whole effort to pull it all together is pretty important.
Yeah.
That is. And I think as we start off with as well, I mean, customers have different systems. And that's why I think it's so important with the openness in our systems, that you can actually integrate into any fleet management system, or you can add in any vehicle. This is showcasing that is possible. So it's not you need to have a Wenco system and a Scania system. That's always, but you can with our two solutions showcase that. Be open, and you will deliver a product that the customer actually wants.
Yeah.
Then you will take it step by step approach.
So we mentioned briefly before the show about electrification, and that's a big focus at this Mine Expo. It's a big focus for a lot of companies, and any new mine is looking at how much they can do electric. So what are you guys looking at?
A lot. We're doing electrification, of course, and we build that into our modular system, which I started with. So the driveline is, as everything else, you can pick and choose. Then, of course, we need to build out our driveline. So getting the battery pack and the electrical engine and so on, that works for each and all solutions. So we have electrified solutions today, but we're expanding to further solutions as well.
And then how that translates to what Wenco does is the subtleties there in terms of, you know, whether or not it's a dynamic charge, static charge. So it's a bit of a modification to the way we would refuel a truck, right? But there are differences that we need to take care of. So yeah, we have within our development path, making sure we're handling have that capability as well. And then also with smaller trucks, you might get larger fleets too. So that ensuring that the algorithms and the systems can handle the complexity of these larger fleets.
So I'm going to jump from electrification to another trend in the industry, which is data, which we mentioned very briefly at the start. And Wenco has been involved in the data game for many years, but it's rapidly growing interest within or acceptance within the industry, and now there's a hunger for it. Right,
and that creates its own challenges too, because there's a lot more of it, right? A lot more of it. So that's another. That's on our technology roadmap. So not necessarily the product side of what we're developing, but the technology roadmap to make sure that the systems can scale properly, right? Yeah. So instead of scaling, you know, vertically, they scale horizontally in order to handle the amount of data, the requests, right, to calculate what needs to be calculated. Yeah. So that's the technology aspect of it. The other side is making sure the customers are getting the value out of it, right? So
for sure,
and working with them, they can have all the data in the world, but if they're not sure what to look for, right, they're not going to get the value out of the system. So that's something else that we try to deliver in terms of what we call our customer success program. Working with the customer we call it value mapping. Okay. Where are they going to get the results from? Yeah. How are we going to do it with the system? And then ensuring they're getting those results through services, training, change management, dashboards.
Because that's that data evolution where once people realized they could collect the data, they collected all of it and then didn't really know what to do with it, or were overwhelmed maybe.
Right.
And now we're at that next stage where people are beginning to look at tools to extract the data that makes things more efficient.
That's right.
Or makes things safer, or whatever it does.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Good. So what's next for the joint collaboration? You guys are working on some very interesting things.
Our next step is continue on that path. Yeah. I mean, we moved mountains so far, so yes, we want to continue to do so, and of course, delivering our solutions together to more customers.
You're moving mountains. I mean, No
literally.
pun intended, literally, yeah. That's great. Before we finish up, Peter, anything you want to leave with the audience?
I think we covered a lot of things, but for us, it is important to deliver to our customers. I mean, if we don't provide solutions to what our customers needs, then we don't have a right to be here. So for us, it is to secure that we continue to deliver both the best product, but also the best service to our end customers, so we can autonomize and also electrify and make it more sustainable future.
Very good. Glenn?
Yeah, I think I would just echo that, right? It's about developing what the customer needs, right? And what the industry needs and what's going to benefit the industry. And I think this open autonomy project is a really fine example of that.
Yeah. I think I've heard that through the whole interview with either a buffet approach or open systems. You guys are all about providing as much value to the customers as you can. That's great.
Yeah.
And to our audience, thank you for joining us for another very interesting edition of Mining Now. And we've been talking about Wenco and we've been talking about Scania. And our guests have been Glen Trainor and Peter Hafmar, and you can find them on LinkedIn. We're coming to you live from the Mine Expo convention floor, another great edition of Mining Now.